Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Patri and I post book videos. In today's video, I'm going to do a wrap-up of all the books I read this month. I read 13 books and 12 of those were romances. I'm a romance lover, and being February, the month of love, well, I had to take advantage of that and read all the romance books I could. I'm going to go in order, starting from the beginning of the month. The first book I read this month, I read it on my Kindle, and it's The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This book is about Vanessa and Aiden. Vanessa is Aiden's assistant, and Aiden is a football player. I don't want to talk a lot about the plot, but basically he asks her to marry him because he's Canadian and he's on the US now, and he wants to have his green card, I don't know how to call it. And basically he offers her something she can't say no to, so she says yes, and the book is about them. I gave this book 4 stars. The next book I read is it was also on my Kindle. I read hands down, is about one of the characters that appears in The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So this book is about Zach and Bianca. They were childhood friends. Well, he was the friend of her cousin, but they were also friends, and then they lost touch, and now they saw each other again because they are living in the same city, and the book is about them. I don't want to spoil anything else. I liked it a little bit more than The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I give it a 4.5 stars. The third book that I read was on my Kindle. It was the third book from the Truly TV series. The name is Hand on the Wall. I didn't really like it. I gave it a 3 stars. The series is about an academy where students that have to do their 2 years of high school apply, and they can get in if they have like special talents or if they see potential in them. And it's a murder mystery type of thing. I don't want to spoil anything else. I liked the first book the most, and I didn't really like this. The next book I read, I also read it on my Kindle. It's the second book from the Influencer series. It's X's and O's. I read the second book first because I thought the plot was more interesting, and then because I liked it, I read the first one. And each book is from one of the sisters, and in the second book the characters are Tara, that she's a book influencer, and Trevor, that is a firefighter. Basically Tara moves in with Trevor and they know each other from people in their lives. She wants to find her second chance romance with her exes, and Trevor helps her find it. I don't want to say anything else, that's enough. And I gave this book a 4 stars. Then I read the second book. Then I read the first book from the series that is called Set on You. I also read it on my Kindle. It's also by Emily. And in this book, the main character in this book is Crystal, and she's a fitness influencer, and she goes to the gym and she has like a nemesis in the gym that's called Scott, and he's a firefighter. And I don't want to spoil anything else. I didn't like this book as much as the other one, so I gave it a 3.5 stars. Then the next book that I read is Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. This book has 3 different POVs. One is Daisy, another one is Christian, and the last one is Julian. This is the 4th book from a series, so I don't want to spoil a lot about it, but basically it's super rich people, their lives. It's from the Magnolia Parks universe. I have the other 3 books here. I'm absolutely obsessed with this series. If you've seen any video from me in this channel, I talk about these books in every video because I just can't get enough of it. So I gave this book a 5 stars, like the first 3 books, and I'm waiting for Jessa Hastings to publish the 5th book. The next book I read is also from a series that I like a lot. I think one of my next videos is going to be about series that I love, because I love reading series, and I have a lot of them that I love, so maybe I can speak about them so you can get some ideas of what you want to read. I don't want to spoil the book because it's the fourth book from the series, but it's from the Edens. This book is called Jasper Vale, and the whole series revolves around the children from a family. There are 3 boys and 3 girls, or 3 men and 3 women, because they are big, and each book is about one of the siblings. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I'm in love with this series. Like, the vibe that it gives is just amazing, and I can't wait for the next book that comes out in September, I think, Crimson River. The next book that I read, I also read it in my Kindle. It's a book that I've had in my TBR for I don't know how many months, like a long time. And I didn't want to read it because people talked about it really highly, and I didn't want to get disappointed because I get my hopes up and then I read the book and then I don't like it. But oh my god, I can't think of a worse thing that could have happened to me by not reading this book. It was just amazing. This book is about Ariana, and she has a really tight friend group with her brother, her best friend, and 2 other boys. And she has had a crush, or she's been in love with one of the boys in this group for ages. Something happens between them and they are awkward around each other, and then they go to university together, and she meets this boy. Well, she meets him the summer before, but she keeps hanging out with him during the first year of university. His name is Noah. I love Noah. I'm obsessed with Noah. I want to marry Noah. And basically, the book is about her and her love life, her trying to find out who she is in her university years. And I gave this book a 5 stars. I cried. I don't know. For the last 200 pages, I cried. I sobbed. I couldn't stop. I couldn't read because I was crying and I couldn't read the pages. But it was amazing. I would recommend it to everyone, and I would love to buy a physical copy to tab it, but I can't keep buying books that I've already read on my Kindle, because I read them on my Kindles because it's cheaper, and then I keep buying books, so I shouldn't do that. The next book that I read was also my Kindle. It's another Marina Zapata book. As you can tell, I'm a little bit obsessed with her. It's Under Lock. This book is about Iris and Vex. Iris lived in another place and she lost her job, so she decided she would go live with her stepbrother. Her father that abandoned her and her stepbrother are from a motorcycle club. She moves in with her brother and he finds her a job at the tattoo parlor from another member of the motorcycle club, and this member is Dex. She doesn't like him because he's like a grump and he's like super very disrespectful to her, but she has to work because she needs the money, so she needs to stay there, and at the same time she's looking for another job. I gave this book 4 stars. I liked it, but it wasn't excellent. I love all Marina Zapata books, like the vibes they give is just excellent. Then I read The Final Offer. I had been waiting for this book since January, because the first book that I read this year was Terms and Conditions. That is the second book of the series, and I was obsessed. I gave that book a 4.5 stars, but in general the series is like super good, and I love the main character from this book because every book is about one brother, and the third brother that is from this book was my favorite in the other books. So basically this book is about Callahan, Cal, and Alana. The grandfather of the 3 men, dies, and he leaves an inheritance, but they have to complete a specific task to be able to receive that inheritance. So in the other 2 books, each brother is completing the task that they have to do to get their inheritance, and in this book Cal is the one that has to complete his task, and basically he has to go back to a lake house, like a small town house that his grandfather had, and he has to sell it. But when he gets there, he finds out that Alana is living there, and Alana is his first love. They were together and then he left her, and she's living in the house because she used to live in that house because her mother worked for the family, and the inheritance says that he has to live in the house for that summer, so they have to live together. This was my favorite book from the series. I'm so sad that it ended, but I'm thinking on coming back and tabbing the book because there were super nice things about this book. And like, I love the book because as a separation, they have little cupcakes and things like that. The only thing I don't like is that on the beginning of the chapter, the page is black, and I think every time I touch it, my fingers are going to get black, and I'm going to get black all over the pages. But I give this book a 5 stars, and I can't recommend it enough. Then I finally decided to buy Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I've never read a Lucy Score book, so I was really excited. But with this book happened the same thing as with Say You Swear. It's so hyped up that I'm scared of not liking it because my expectations are so high. But oh my god, I don't know what to say about this book. It's just like, I read 10 pages of the book and I ordered the second one that it was being released the next day, I think, and I just had to have it. And I'm waiting for it now on the mail because where I live, Amazon Prime, instead of sending you books in like packages in 2 or 3 days, it takes like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm really impatient to get my things, but well, I can't do anything about it. So I read this book. This book is about Naomi. How do you say it in English? It's because in Spanish it's Naomi. It's about Naomi, and she has a twin sister that is not a very good person, and she calls her and she's like, I need you to come, I need your help. So she goes to a small town that's called Knockemout, and when she gets there, she finds out that her sister is gone, and she's left there with no car because she stole it from her, and a niece that she didn't even know she had, and she's like 10 years old. 10? I think it's 10, 11, 12. 10, 11 years old. And there's this boy. I keep saying boy. It's not a boy, it's a man. It's like over 40. That's called Knox. By the way, I love the name Knox. And the 2 characters I've read books about that have that name, I love them. So, interesting fact about me. And basically he helps her because her sister also stole her money, her car, so she has nothing and she doesn't even have a job, so he helps her out. I gave this book a 5 stars. It could be a 6 stars if there was, and I'm planning on tabbing it. I don't have tabs, I just bought them online because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do things to my books. I wanted to leave them like this, but I think I'm going to start tabbing, and I bought the posits that are like translucent, so you can write on them and see on the other side what's written underneath, so I don't have to highlight the book. So yes, I really recommend this book. I think this was my favorite read of this month. It wasn't like my favorite because I cannot choose between these 3 books, but I knew I was going to like these other 2, so I count this as a better book because I didn't know what to expect from the other books. I already knew I was going to love them. Then after that book, there was a flop. I read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert in my Kindle. I didn't like it. It took way too long to read that book because I was so bored. I didn't like it. I didn't connect with the characters. I didn't like the plot. No, I gave it a 2 stars. It's basically, this book is about a girl and a boy that used to be best friends when they were little, and then something happened and they became enemies, and now they go to the same high school but they don't really talk, and now they decide to go to a camp to get a scholarship, so they are forced to be together because there's only like 20 students in that camp, so they rekindle. And the last read of this month was Throttled by Lauren Asher. I have to say, I'm currently reading Collided, that's the second book of the series. I thought I was going to like it more after reading the Dreamland Billionaire series. I thought I was going to like this way more. I don't know if it's the Formula One stuff. I really like it, but I didn't connect with the characters as much. But it was good, like 4 stars, but I was hoping it would be a 5 stars and I would be like mind blown by the story. But I liked it. I'm reading the second one and I have the other 2 here. This book is about Maya, that is the sister of Santi, that is a Formula One driver, and Noah, that is a Formula One driver, that's the teammate of Santiago, that is the brother of Maya. And Noah is a womanizer. Maya just graduated from college, so she joins her brother in the Grand Prix tour he has to do to complete 21 races for the Formula One Championship, and Noah is right there with her, obviously because he's the other driver from the same team. I give this book a 4 stars. I really liked it. I'm currently reading the second book. I'm liking it a little bit more. And those are all the books that I read this month. If you like seeing these types of books, I'll continue doing them. I hope you liked it and I'll see you next week.